Hi folks, welcome to another video. In this video I wanted to go over the healing debuff, and this is the debuff that can be applied from daggers, crossbows, staffs, as well as greatswords. And I wanted to test a few things in this video. So what I tested was, if the healing debuff can stack, similar to other debuffs that exist, in the game, like the endurance debuff or the evasion debuff, etc. And, I had made a previous video that went over this a little bit. And I also wanted to test the actual impact that the healing debuff has on our heals. And to do that, I use one of the strongest heals that, Longbow Seeker healers have, which is our Nature's Blessing heal. And I had a few players use the healing debuff on me and just recorded how much that healing debuff reduced the Nature's Blessing healing touch combination heal. And just for quick demonstration purposes, I'll show you which heal I'm actually talking about, or which healing combination I'm actually talking about. And this is a heal where when you healing touch and you Nature's Blessing, it pumps you with a very, very strong heal, like you can see here, ticking for 2.8k and 484 respectively. And this is the heal that I'm using for the test in this video. In the clip you're about to see, I gathered a few guildies that were kind enough to help, shout out to them, to test if the healing debuff from the respective weapons stack when used on me while my Nature's Blessing heal is active. And the weapons that were present were a greatsword, staff, and daggers, I believe. And what you'll see is the healing debuffs from their weapons reducing my Nature's Blessing heal by a certain amount. And also you'll notice that the healing debuffs don't stack from these weapons, or from the healing debuffs used from these different weapons. So this clip is really helpful because it confirms a few things. One, it confirms that the healing debuff from different weapons do not stack. Two, it also confirms that healing debuff works to reduce the heal from Nature's Blessing and healing touch combination heal. And three, it also helps us understand how much the healing debuff reduces the heal of one of your strongest heals. So you can see it reduced the heal from 1,600 to 283, which is it's a significant decrease in your healing. Now I'm going to play a few more clips of the same test, and then I'm going to show another one, which we completed, that demonstrates that the two healing debuffs from staff, from Meteor and Focus Fire Bomb, actually stack, which is a little bit concerning, but fortunately is not by the amount in which we would think. So it's not a direct stacking of 80% plus 80%, for example. It stacks very uniquely, and I'll show that in the clip, or you can look at the timestamp in the description of this video and skip right to it. Now for this next test, I wanted to demonstrate how the healing debuffs from the two fire staff abilities, Meteor and Focus Fire Bomb, stack. I'm not sure if this is intended, but I just wanted to show proof that they do indeed stack when they're used against you, which is very common for players, within your roster or within your raid to deal with in a large-scale combat scenario where there's a bunch of Meteor and Focus Fire Bombs just flying about all over the place. Notice how the total value for the incoming recovery effect stat is negative 96%. So this is very different from the earlier tests where we had the healing debuff applied at the same time from multiple different weapons, the dagger, staff, and greatsword, and it always remained at a constant negative 80%. But when you use the two healing debuff abilities from staff, Meteor and Fire Bomb, they for some reason stack and create a total of negative 96%. So not negative 160%, they're not stacking perfectly on top of each other. For some reason, they're stacking very uniquely and to form a total of negative 96%. In the next clips, I just wanted to demonstrate what the incoming recovery effect totals are when you use each ability separately. So you'll see that for Meteor and Fire Bomb, the incoming recovery effect stat will show a total of negative 80%. And this is just to act as a good reference or reminder in case you're unsure about it yourself. And yet you can compare that to the initial number you see in the first test where both abilities were used simultaneously, showing a total of negative 96%. Now, one last thing that's interesting to note from this previous clip is the additional 16% healing reduction reduces your 284 and 96 hot from Nature's Blessing to 57 and 19. So I think that's just one last thing to, just one last interesting thing to note on how that additional 16% affects your Nature's Blessing combination heal with Healing Touch. If you're curious what gear I used for the test, it was the following. I use the 4-piece Ascended set that I use for PvP normally. I had my Divine Justice Curse shoes on in my class of the Overlord, but this is what I normally run in PvP, where I have the Sabatons of the Field General on instead, and the Thunderstorm Necklace. Yeah, this is how I normally have it set up. These are my stats. Collision resistance, some others. And these are how my other stats are set up as well. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it had information that maybe was helpful, interesting, or at the very least confirmed some stuff you already knew and have tested with your guildmates and friends before. But personally, I think healing debuffs are needed in any MMO to counter healing. However, I do believe the way in which they are applied and can be countered in this game could be improved. So what I mean by that is I don't particularly like that healing debuffs, like other debuffs in this game, can be stacked repeatedly after being cleansed. And, and related to that, I don't like how cleanse can't be relied on always to cleanse healing debuffs, since our cleanses as healers are for the most part random in which debuff it cleanses first. And how I play against healing debuffs is making sure my party mates have healing overtime abilities on them that have already been precasted, and that I'm using my shields and damage mitigation abilities like Blessed Barrier to reduce the damage they take while they have healing debuffs on them. And I feel like this is a lot more reliable. It is specifically just to counter healing debuffs that I could not cleanse initially. And also having a great sword using Blood Devotion in your party is super helpful, especially when it gets chaotic and there's a lot of debuffs and high burst abilities that are flying all over the place that you can't sustain alone. But overall, I think the devs should continue to improve the cleansing system in this game and how debuffs stack. But I'm curious what you folks think, so let me know in the comments below. But again, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.